Amandla. Long live the memory of Hector Peterson, long live. Long live the spirit of Solomon Mahlangu, long live. Program Director, Minister Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, ministers who are here, MEC Panyaza Lusufi, standing in from the Premier of Gauteng, deputy ministers who are here, and MECs of our Gauteng government, mayors and councillors of our various municipalities, the chairperson of the NYDA, Sifiso Mutweni, members of parliament and provincial legislatures, the president of the Pan-Africanist Congress, who is here on stage with us, the leadership of various youth formations who are here, Sanbonani, Abishen, Dumelang, Demacheroni, Molweni, Goeiemiddag. It is just over 2 months since we all got together here in Orlando Stadium. When we last got together here, we were bidding farewell to Mama Uwini Nomzamo Matikizela Mandela, a great woman of fortitude who, through her complete dedication to the liberation of our people, inspired generations of young people in the struggle for democracy. Today, we also gather here to commemorate and celebrate the heroic deeds of the youth of 1976 and all the other young lions who came after them. We also remember Ubaba Usemzima, who passed away a few weeks ago, who took the photograph of Hector Peterson that was broadcast all over the world, a photograph which in many ways truly depicted the horror of what happened on the 16th of June in 1976, and we say, may his soul rest in eternal peace. We celebrate all the young people who launched the uprising in 1976. These were gallant freedom fighters who selflessly sacrificed their own lives for the liberation of their people. Today, we also celebrate a new generation of young freedom fighters who have dedicated themselves to the struggle against poverty and inequality, the struggle for dignity, for prosperity, and for justice for all. From those who have come before them, they have learned the value of selflessness, discipline, hard work, and an abiding love for the people of our country. As we seek to build a new, inclusive South Africa, we look with great eagerness to the creativity and the energy of the young people of our country. We look forward to them because young people have been at the center and at the forefront of every decisive historical moment in the struggle against colonialism and apartheid. The young people of our country have always distinguished themselves with their visionary talent, with their foresight, and their ability to be catalysts of political and social change. From the founders of the ANC Youth League in 1944 to the students who led the 1976 uprising, to the young lions of the 1980s, it is the youth of our country who speeded up the death of the apartheid system. Even as we built a democratic South Africa, it was the fearless young people who reminded us that liberation would not be complete until the wealth of the land of our country is shared amongst its people. It is the young people of our country who have said to us that we cannot have true democracy and freedom without economic emancipation. It is the young people of our country who have said that the question of land is the most important issue that we need to address. It is the young people of our country who have also said that the issue of skills and education should be put at the top of the agenda of our country. The current generation of youth has therefore chosen as its mission the attainment of economic freedom. Compatriots, youth continue to bear the brunt of unemployment, of poverty, and inequality. If you want to experience poverty, just ask the young people of our country, and you will see poverty written all over their faces. They remain the hardest hit by disease, violent crime, drug abuse, and underdevelopment. We understand the frustration of young people who cannot find jobs, who do not have the skills and the experience employers are looking for, and are unable to find the support that they need to start their own businesses. Our shared responsibility as government, as business, as labor and civil society is to develop pathways for young people into the world of work. It is this task to which we should be directing all our efforts and all our energies. We are making progress in many of these areas. The National Youth Development Agency, the NYDA, has established a value chain of entrepreneurship which includes skills development, training, development finance, mentorship, support, and market linkages. More than 2,500 startup companies have been provided with funding, creating more than 10,000 jobs in the economy. 10,000 jobs that have been created as a result of the work that is being done by the NYDA. Let us give the NYDA a round of applause because they are doing some really good work. Beyond this, more than 25,000 young people have been placed in job opportunities over the past 3 financial years. Today, we have a very good example of what the NYDA is doing. The young people who are sitting on my right-hand side are the beneficiaries of what the NYDA is doing. We should be proud of these young people. Many of them are running their own businesses and they are successful at running their businesses. We should be proud as a nation that we've got young people represented in the NYDA who are championing the issues that affect young people, who are assisting other young people and creating successful entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs that are on my right-hand side are the industrialists of tomorrow. They are the big manufacturers of tomorrow. They are the big giants of business of tomorrow. And we must encourage them to keep growing and being successful. As President, I am very proud of all of you, and I congratulate you for the journey that you have taken. Government has done much through its public employment programs and investment in infrastructure to give priority to young people and women. It introduced the employment tax incentive to encourage companies to employ more young people. Government, business, labor, and civil society have started preparations for the Job Summit, which will need to take extraordinary measures to create jobs on a scale that we have never seen before in this country. It will need to forge a new social compact which mobilizes all sections of society behind the task of growth and job creation. We have demonstrated what is possible through working together. The Youth Employment Service, which is an initiative led by the private sector and supported by government, as well as labor, was launched earlier this year to bridge the gap between school and work. With a number of large companies already involved, it aims to create 1 million experience opportunities for young people over the next 3 years. As part of this initiative, small businesses and micro-enterprises that are run by young people will also get assistance through wage sponsorship and through business literacy and entrepreneurial training. The challenge for unemployed youth is not only one of skills. There are many graduates in our country. Many young people are graduates. They have completed their university degrees. They have completed their college diplomas, and a number of them also have their skills certificates. but they remain unemployed. We must change this situation and get those graduates into jobs, because we cannot accept that graduates do not have work. Graduates must be in work. They must be doing their work in the businesses in our country. This is a vast pool of skills and knowledge that is just being wasted. Society has invested a great deal in the education of these young people, but our economy is not benefiting from this investment that society has made. On this Youth Day, we therefore call on all companies in our country, both in the public and the private sector, to make deliberate efforts to seek out unemployed graduates and employ them. And we say, companies, go and find those unemployed graduates, employ them. It is not a big burden on individual companies, but if taken up on a large scale, such a call could significantly reduce youth unemployment while bringing much needed skills and capacity into the economy. Employers must understand that for our country to succeed, for their businesses to thrive, they must take responsibility for providing young people with the work experience they need. So our graduates must be employed without having this added requirement of experience, because experience has become a barrier to employing young people into the job situation. So today, I agree with the NYDA that this requirement of experience must be put aside. Young people will gain experience when they are in work. They must realize that the only way to get work experience is to put young people in work. That is the way young people will get experience. If we are to succeed in creating more jobs for young people, our economy needs to grow faster, and for that to happen, it therefore needs to bring in more and more young people into the world of work without requiring that they must have experience. Where will they get experience if not in the workplace? So allow them to get into the workplace, because that is where they will get their experience. The other important thing, of course, is that for young people to get into the job situation or into employment, we need investment. We need investments to flow into our country, into our various companies. We have earmarked a massive investment drive that aims to attract $100 billion, which is 1.3 trillion rand, into our economy in the next 5 years. We are focusing on investment into those parts of the economy that have the greatest potential for growth and for creating jobs, also for young people. We are focusing on investment that will create opportunities for young people in particular, and for women. If we are to make effective use of this investment, young people need to be equipped to participate in the fourth industrial revolution. That is why we are investing so significantly in education. We are making great progress in ensuring that no child, regardless of their circumstance, regardless of where they come from, regardless of who their parents are, regardless of who they are, should be denied access to education. Despite significant challenges, we are continuously working to improve the quality of teaching and learning in our schools, progress that is reflected in the consistent improvement of the matric pass rate. We are working both to improve the quality of education and the environment in which learning and teaching takes place. This year, we have agreed that emergency measures are needed to ensure that sanitation in schools is safe and hygienic. We cannot afford to lose another young life to unsafe school toilets. We can no longer expose our children to illness, to injury, and the indignity of inadequate toilet facilities. Fellow South Africans, from the beginning of this year, students from poor backgrounds entering universities and colleges for the first time are receiving free education. The very demand that was part of the Freedom Charter. This is a great victory for young people. You as young people demanded free education for children from poor backgrounds is now here. And we thank you for your struggle because the nation has listened to you. It is a vindication of struggles that have been fought over many years for quality education that is free, for quality education that is accessible and relevant. It will have a far-reaching effect on the lives of millions of youth, enabling them to acquire skills, to find employment, to build their careers, and enjoy an improving quality of life. This will do much to break the cycle of poverty. More than that, it will ensure that our economy is able to draw on a far larger pool of knowledge and expertise. Having achieved this great milestone, young people now have a responsibility to make full use of the educational opportunities available. Because young people need to realize that as they have rights, and we are trying to perfect and fulfill the rights that young people have, they also have responsibilities. And one of their key responsibilities is to take advantage of the educational opportunities that are available. Young people must go to school and they must pass. That is their responsibility. And as the nation invests in fulfilling your rights, similarly, you must reciprocate by acting on your responsibility of going to school and passing and getting your qualification. The other important responsibility that young people have is that they must work hard at institutions of higher learning. They must achieve outstanding results and use their skills to contribute to building a new society. We look to the youth to continue to be at the forefront of the struggle for a non-sexist society. The empowerment of women, especially young women, must be one of our central tasks as we seek to build an inclusive society. We must ensure that young women have the same educational opportunities as their male counterparts, that they are equally able to compete for jobs, and they receive equal pay for equal work. Young men and young women need to work together to put an end to all forms of violence against women, especially the devastating scourge of rape and femicide. The recent spate of murders of young women by young men is deeply disturbing and requires that, as a nation and as individuals, we take decisive action to end such crimes. This generation of young South Africans has an opportunity to fundamentally change gender relations and to achieve full and meaningful equality between men and women in all spheres of life. The challenges that our youth face are great, but they are not insurmountable. We can overcome them if we work together. We can overcome them if the youth take the lead and become agents of their own liberation. Young people must be preoccupied with activities that contribute to making South Africa a better and safer country to live in. This means that they must not indulge or engage in alcohol and drug abuse. It means that they must not participate in crime and corruption. And more importantly, young people must keep themselves safe from HIV by using condoms, abstaining from early sexual activity, and being tested regularly. As we celebrate Youth Day in 2018, we recall the lives of two outstanding founders of the youth movement in our country, Utata Nelson Mandela, no Mama Albertina Sisulu, whose centenaries we are marking this year. These two giants embodied the values and the qualities from which we should all draw lessons and inspiration. Utata Madiba no Mama Sisulu were always ready to serve as volunteers for the greater good of our people without any motive of personal gain. They sacrificed their own interests to fight for the freedom of others. And the best way we can honor their sacrifices is to follow their example. The best way we can honor their names and their lives is to honor them by being exemplary like them. We must shun selfishness and strive for collective prosperity. We must fight for the rights of others as much as we fight for our own. We cannot stand idly by while the rights of others are being violated, while there are people in the world who are still colonized, oppressed, and exploited. We cannot rest while there are still millions of people who go hungry, who do not have shelter, and who do not have work. We have a responsibility, each and every one of us, to do everything in our power to make the lives of others better. The spirit of Mandela and Sisulu lives on in the young people of this country. It lives on in their dreams, in their determination, in their struggles for a better life. It lives on in their desire to be part of building a new nation of equality, prosperity, and progress. It lives on in their willingness to lend a hand, to be ready to say, Yebo, Tatu Madiba, Yebo, Mama Sisulu, Tuma mina, send me, so that I can go and help others. If we do our part, we will all succeed. It is this that today we see represented in various youth formations in our country, especially the NYDA. I have found the leadership of the NYDA being a group of young people who are prepared to emulate and walk in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela and Mama Albertina Sisulu. I have found them to be young people who are willing to champion the rights of other young people. And I call on all other youth formations in our country and say, be young people similar to young people of the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 1980s. Young people who were prepared to sacrifice a lot for the interests of others. The NYDA today is serving the interests of young people. They have turned their organization around, and today they are focusing on building entrepreneurs of the future, on training young people of the future and equipping them with good skills. And we applaud them and wish that they carry on with this important task. Today, they have impressed me greatly by bringing all these young people on the right-hand side as a true demonstration of the work that they are doing. On my part, I want to see more and more of the young people who are sitting on the right-hand side increasing by leaps and bounds. And when they can do so, that is when their plea for more money, for more resources, will then fall on listening ears, because then we can see the work that they are doing. But today, these young people are a true representation of the type of young people that we want to see in our country. And for that reason, I applaud you all as young people who have taken up the task of liberating yourself and making yourself a lot better. And the road to prosperity for you is therefore open. And we will continue to open the road for prosperity for many, many other young people in our country as we continue to create jobs, open up pathways, empower the young people in our country so that the South Africa they inherit should be a South Africa that is prosperous and looking forward. With that, I wish you the best Youth Day this year in 2018, and thank you very much. Forward with the youth of our country, forward. Forward with the youth of South Africa, forward. Amandla. Thank you.